Morning, y'all. Saturday, a day off. Thank God, we can all use one. So, today I'm going to talk about what happens if you're on the other side of the interrogation table. Okay. In the military, this is part of our SEER training. SEER is an acronym for survival, evasion, resistance, and escape. Okay. Obviously, if you've been captured and you're now a prisoner about to be interrogated, the portion we're dealing with in SEER is resistance. Okay. Now, I'm pretty much sure 100% of your captors aren't going to be trained interrogators. Okay. Hell, for the most part, they aren't going to be trained anything. Maybe a militia's your captor, but that's highly doubtful because militias and preppers are pretty much on the same side. Conservative beliefs, patriots, that sort of stuff. Okay. On the off chance that your captor is organized, you already know the players on that side. Antifa, BLM, and the biggest joke in the world, the NFAC. Okay. If the NFAC captures you, don't worry too much. They're too busy shooting each other to pose a risk to you. Okay. The other two groups, well, we know they're violent. Okay. We know that from watching riots that have gone on for the last 6 months. But as for intelligent, no. As for organized, somewhat. Okay, thank you, George Soros. Okay. Anyway, there's always the chance that they decide to do something besides burn, loot, and murder. Okay, what do you think BLM stands for anyway? Let's say they actually do want to question you. They certainly aren't going to be trained to do it. So pretty much all bets are off when they try. But for the sake of argument, let's go over the possibilities and what your response should be. Now, I think everybody in the world is familiar with the quote of name, rank, and serial number. Okay. Well, we all have a name, so that's fine to give them, just maybe in a little different way. Okay. If we're talking an SHTF situation here and you're out on a patrol, for example, okay, and you subsequently got caught, hopefully you didn't take ID with you. Okay. But maybe if you were captured going on a supply run and they got you on your way to, say, Walmart, and you did have ID, well, now you got a couple of different scenarios, okay? And again, this is why it's always important to remember what you have on your person, what can be used against you, okay? If they have your wallet, you've already given them a ton of information. So they know your real name, and with the internet, should it still be working, okay, can probably find a good amount of information on you. Your Facebook page, your Twitter handle, YouTube, okay. God knows, put anybody's name in a search and you can find out all sorts of interesting things on them. If you want to pay a couple of bucks through any of these sites, you can find out criminal record, marriage record, and God knows what, okay. So if you know they have your ID, you're kind of stuck giving them your real name and they're going to be able to use this against you. Be prepared for that. If you didn't have your wallet on you and they don't have any way of knowing your name, okay, nobody recognizes you or anything of the sort, give them a fictitious name, but give them one that is going to be, you can't say John Smith. They're going to know that's BS in a heartbeat, okay? So best practice here is to give them your middle name and your mother's maiden name, all right? And if you do something like that, it's going to be easy for you to remember, but there's going to be nothing online that's going to correlate to you, and nobody's going to know you by that name, so there's no way they can coordinate any information going, hey, I've got, Fred Jehoshaphat, here, who the hell is Fred Jehoshaphat? So as far as the other two pieces of information go, rank and serial number, you aren't military, so you have no rank. And don't you dare give them your serial number or your social security number, okay? So as far as this goes, give them a name. They need something to call you anyway. And you're trying to keep yourself from getting hurt. So if they have it, fine, confirm it. If they don't, like I said, use the middle name, mother's maiden name type thing. One other thing, if your mag has any code names, i.e. pinball, okay, do not give that to them, okay? Nothing that is going to be, if you can avoid it, nothing that's going to be real, but you should have no ID on you that has your code name. Certainly don't use it because maybe they've heard you over the radio before. They don't want you to correlate with what they've heard on the radio with your radio handle, if you will. All right. So now they're going to try to break you. And they're probably going to try to do some of the things I've talked about the past few days. They're going to disarm you. They're going to disorient you. They're going to search you. They may berate you, and they may physically abuse you. Like I said, they aren't trained. They don't know what's going on. You're going to have to suck this up as much as possible, okay? The only thing you have is your will. And as long as your will is strong, you'll be okay, all right? They want to break you. You have to do whatever it takes not to break. Everybody has a breaking point. Everybody, okay? I don't care who you are. You could be Rambo, you could be the greatest special forces, Navy SEAL, whatever it is. Everybody has a breaking point, okay? Your job's to hold out as long as possible before breaking, because if you can do that, by the time they get the information out of you, hopefully it's outdated and useless, okay? We've all seen videos of people getting beaten, kicked, spit upon, and the like, okay? Pick any one of the news broadcasts lately from any of these peaceful protests, okay? You should probably be aware this is going to happen in any SHTF situation, so be prepared to endure that. But let's say they actually do want to question you. Chances are they're going to use those very rudimentary versions of the approaches I went over. Your best chance of not being broken is to stay silent, okay? Don't answer anything. Name, we already talked about that, okay? Don't even make eye contact with them. Don't even follow orders if you can avoid it. If they tell you to pick something up, ignore them. Stand up, sit down, ignore them, okay? They'll probably force you into physical positions, but you don't have to comply. Go limp. Fine. Let them pick you up and put you in a chair and you can double over to your knees. You don't have to comply to anything. Fainting, try saying that fast, will occasionally work as well. It may get you kicked and put back in the chair, but it's worth a try, okay? Remember, you're trying to do whatever you can to delay the inevitable, okay? One decent, albeit disgusting way to stop an interrogation is to relieve yourself in your pants, okay? Trust me, it'll make them very uncomfortable too. Your whole objective is to delay them to be able to get any information from you as long as possible. Do whatever you can. Ignore them. Make it as uncomfortable for them as possible. They're making it uncomfortable for you. You don't have to make it easy for them, all right? You'll know when you're getting to them when they start trying to bribe you. And with the untrained black-clad friends that I mentioned before, they're going to go to this real quick, okay? Because this is the only thing they have. They have two options. They're either going to bribe you or they're going to try to hurt you, and neither one of them are going to be effective. Hurting you is painful. Deal with it, okay? They're going to try to offer you a cigarette, or they're going to offer you some water or some food. Now, things they offer you are going to be either a plus or minus. Never accept a cigarette, even if you smoke. Okay, never accept anything like that. This isn't a time to be taking comfort items. That just helps them break you. Now, food or water, if it's offered, take it. Okay, drink the water, eat the food, do whatever. Don't talk while you're doing it. Just keep eating, just keep drinking, just whatever it is. Food in the mouth. Okay, your objective is to stay alive, and food and water are necessary to do that. A cigarette isn't. All right. Now, mind you, this is vastly different than the incentive approach I talked about before the other day, okay? If they give you food, eat it. You're getting the food before giving information, which is just the opposite of what I said using an incentive approach. If you're the interrogator, you always want to get the information and then give the food. If they're giving you the food first and then expecting the information, eat the food, screw them on the information, okay? They'll try to say, I just fed you. Now tell me what I want to know. Sorry, I'm not talking, and you can't really take the food out of my belly now, can you? Okay. So let's say that somebody actually uses one of the approaches that I mentioned the other day. All right. Let's go over those. All right. First off, the incentive approach. Okay. This is probably going to be the most common one anybody's going to try to use if they have any sort of common sense. Remember, this is the one where they promise something of value to you if you answer questions. Okay? Your best bet in this scenario is silence. Don't accept anything, because once you do, it's difficult to stop. If they offered you a meal and you talked, they're going to offer you another meal to get you to talk some more. Okay? They now know you can be bought. All right? So ignore them. Don't. Just your best bet is silence. I'll give you a meal if you answer these questions. Nope, not saying a word. Okay. Let's talk about the emotional love or the emotional hate approaches. All right, think about this for a second. Does this guy really want to help you? Is he really your friend? Would a friend of yours tie you up? No jokes. Your best bet here is to be argumentative and confusing. He talks about the group and how you hate the leader, he talks about the group and tell him you hate the leader, but you love the group. You love the cause, but hate the method. Something. Contradict yourself often. Every time he says, you hate your leader, right? No, I love the leader. But wait a minute, didn't you just tell me you hated your leader? No, I hate the group. Just argumentative and confusing. Just anything you can do there. You're not under oath here. This isn't a courtroom, okay? So if he questions you on something, change what you said. Who cares, okay? Confuse him. Get him flustered. Ego up, ego down, all right? Again, he's not your friend. Argue with every point he makes. Great weapon you have. Yeah, but the thing jams all the time. What, you don't like an AR? Oh, I do. They're the best weapon out there. Wait a minute, I thought you just said they jam all the time. Well, yeah, it does, but it's the best weapon I've got. Confuse him, disagree with him. Anything you can. Just, if he says the sky's blue, tell him it's black. If it's black, it's blue. I don't care. Day, night, whatever it would be. Okay. Fear up and fear down. He can threaten you all he wants, but if he really wanted you dead, you'd already be dead. Okay? So just know, all his threats are idle threats. As for being your protector, he could care less about you. You're a source. That's it. You're his enemy. He couldn't give two shits what happens to you. Don't fall for the bait. Your best bet here is silence again. Don't acknowledge his threats and don't acknowledge his compassion. He doesn't care. Okay. The last one, the we know all. They know what you know, they know. Okay, that's it. If they knew everything, why are they asking questions in the first place? Your best bet here is silence. Let them know. If they already know it, then you don't need to tell them. Simple. Okay. Like I said before, everybody has a breaking point. Eventually, you're going to break. All right. Think about the girl in high school you asked out every weekend. You were persistent. You just kept asking. You just kept asking. You just kept asking. Eventually, she went out with you. You broke her. You tried all sorts of different things to finally get her to say yes. Everyone breaks. Something will eventually happen that will trigger you to go, I've had enough. Okay. Your goal is to hold out long enough that the information you have is practically worthless by the time you break. I know someone's going to come up with a character or a ruse to play and say, give them a bunch of fake information. That works great in the movies, okay? But it's not realistic in the real world. Trying to pull off a lie like that takes a ton of skill, and none of us have it. I seriously doubt any CIA operatives are watching my channel, all right? You're not going to be able to play a character forever unless you are so bipolar it's unbelievable, okay? Hopefully, I pray to God, none of us ever need to use any of this information, and it's probably the most useless prepper video ever put on YouTube. But in the off chance that you need it, maybe one little piece of this sticks with you and helps you, okay? I'd say thank you to everybody. This was kind of fun. Y'all asked for this. You got it for 4 days, okay? It was difficult to put together in this format, but I gave it my best shot. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Tomorrow we get back to maybe a little bit more current events, realistic type, oh my God, what do I do stuff. I put out a couple of them like that today. But guys, this is pretty much what I can give you in regards to a video on interrogation. Hope y'all enjoyed. Have a great one. Pinball out.